Hello everyone, I am Sneha Marathe, Assistant Professor in PG Department of Law, SP University, Vallabh Vidyanagar. Welcome my all students. Today we are starting our third semester. So I would like to welcome our all students in virtual class. So from today we are starting semester 3. I will be taking two subjects. First is insurance law and the other is judicial process. So today we will be starting with our first subject, that is insurance law. So everyone must have heard of concept of insurance. What is insurance? Insurance is somebody is facing some loss and the other person, third party, comes in and perform the task of shock bearer. That is the concept of insurance actually. And everyone must have bought different kind of insurance as health insurance, third party motor vehicle insurance, fire insurance, property insurance, life insurance, many of them. So yes, in our semester 3 we will be covering all type of insurance in during our all 5 units. Before starting, today we are starting with the first unit and the concept. Before starting our unit, I would like to introduce what is insurance. So insurance is considered as a type of contract. Every one of us have studied contract law in our LLB classes. So we are aware of what is the contract. In contract we have studied that there must be basic required elements. There are basic 9 elements required to become a valid contract. Similar to that, insurance is also a type of contract, and specifically it is known as an indemnity contract. Everyone must also have studied this indemnity contract in a type of Special Contract Act. But I would revise that concept. What is indemnity contract? In Gujarati we call it as નુકસાન ભરપાઈ કરાર. બધાએ સાંભળ્યું જ હશે કે શું નુકસાન ભરપાઈ કરાર હોય છે. એ ટાઈપનો કરાર છે કે જ્યારે કોઈ વ્યક્તિને કોઈ લોસ થાય છે, કોઈ ડેમેજ થાય છે, એ ટાઈમે એ વ્યક્તિને કોઈ થર્ડ પર્સન કે કોઈ કંપની આવીને એનું જે નુકસાન છે એ હળવું કરે છે કે એની ભરપાઈ કરે છે, એને નુકસાન ભરપાઈ કરાર કહેવામાં આવે છે. એ સ્પેસિફિકલી ઇન્ડેમનિટી કોન્ટ્રાક્ટ કહેવાય છે, જેની ડેફિનેશન the definition of indemnity contract has been given under Section 124 of Indian Contract Act 1872. It defines the indemnity contract as a contract by which one party promises to save the other from the loss caused to him by the conduct of promisor himself or by any other party. It means that if somebody is having indemnity contract, the indemnifier, the person who is promising that person to safeguard him at the time of loss or at the time of damages, if that promiser come across with the act of himself or by any other's act. We will study this concept with one example. If A promises to deliver certain goods to B worth rupees 2000 every month. Now there is one contract between A and B where A is promising to deliver worth rupees 2000 every month to B. Now C is coming into the frame and C is claiming that he will indemnify the loss bared by B if A is failing to fulfill his duty or A is failing to fulfill his promises. Now, as we have started with, there is one contract between A and B. If A is not fulfilling his duty, in that case C will comes in and C will fulfill the promises to B. So B's shock will get absorbed, B's loss will get absorbed. So if A is failing to supply goods of rupees 2000 to B, in that case C will do that. So ultimately B will not have to bear any kind of loss. So now in our example, B is considered as indemnity holder. Indemnity holder means he is having that situation. Indemnity holder means he will get compensated for any loss if he come across, and C will perform the duty of indemnifier. Indemnifier means the person who is promising to compensate the losses. Now if we relate this concept to the insurance contract, in that case the individual who is buying the insurance, it can be any kind of insurance, that person will become indemnity holder, and the insurance company who is securing that person, that company will become indemnifier. So like this, the concept of indemnity contract is equally applicable to insurance. So insurance contract is a type of indemnity contract, but except life insurance. Why life insurance is not considered to be the indemnity contract? Because as we have understood this example, indemnity contract or નુકસાન ભરપાઈ કરાર કેમ વર્ક કરે છે, સેના પર વર્ક કરે છે કે જ્યારે આપણા એક્ઝામ્પલમાં જોયું તો જો બી ને કોઈ લોસ થતો હોય તો એની ભરપાઈ કરવા માટે, એને કમ્પન્સેટ કરવા માટે અને એ જેવી સ્થિતિમાં પહેલા હતો એ સ્થિતિ પાછી લાવવા માટે, એના માટે ઇન્ડેમનિટી કોન્ટ્રાક્ટ નુકસાન ભરપાઈ કરાર કરવામાં આવે છે. If we talk about life insurance, in life insurance, loss cannot get compensated. If someone is died, he has lost his life, no one can put life in any dead person. So any insurance company, they can compensate, surely. Life insurance contract works on the concept of, they compensate in terms of money. They compensate in terms of monetary compensation, but they cannot set that person back to the original position, and that is why life insurance is not considered to be the indemnity contract. Now what is the essential element of the indemnity contract? There should be an agreement between that two parties, indemnifier and indemnity holder, that in case of any losses, any uncertain situation, the indemnifier will compensate to the indemnity holder. That term, that provision must be there in their contract. And as we have discussed, this concept is totally, insurance is a type of contract. So as we understood up till now, Contract Act is just to support our contractual agreement. Similar to that, the insurance company, if someone is buying insurance and they are signing that insurance document, now it is their own responsibility and duty to read that document thoroughly and understood that. If they are not understanding any rules, any regulation or provision in that drafted document, they have to make a rectification mutually. So after mutual agreement, then if that document is coming out, then both the person, indemnifier and indemnity holder, in terms of insurance law we can say insurer and insuree. Insurer is insurance company, so both have to abide by that insurance document, and that insurance document will be considered as the contractual document for them. With this, we also have to understand there are two other definitions of contingent contract and wagering contract. So many times this kind of question get asked into the exam. Compare that all these three types of contract, or insurance contract falls in the which type of category, whether it is indemnity contract or contingent contract or wagering agreement. So just not get confused, and we will get detailed understanding on all these three definitions. And the next is we are discussing contingent contract. The definition of contingent contract we can get in section 31 of Indian Contract Act. Now, what is the contingent contract? A contract to do or not to do something if some event occurs. Some event means again the futuristic event occurs. Collateral to that contract does or does not happen. Now, in contingent contract also, it depends upon the futuristic uncertain event, but that futuristic uncertain event must be collateral to the main contract purpose. So the contingent contract mainly depends upon happening and non-happening of some collateral event. Now here example we can understand. If A contracts to pay B rupees 10,000 if B's house is burned. This is a contingent contract because it is a futuristic event and uncertain event. So if B's house get burned, then only A will pay him 10,000 rupees. So, but how it is different from the indemnity contract? So indemnity contract specifically works as a shock bearer. So if any person is facing any loss, any damages, in that case only indemnity contract works. But the contingent contract works for any futuristic event, and basically two elements works in that. There should be contract to do or not to do something. If it always, contingent contract always work with the condition of if some event does or does not happen. So someone will do that if some act is happening or not happening. So the some specific futuristic event that collateral event is majorly related to the contingent contract. So that collateral event will decide the enforceability of contingent contract. Another example we will discuss. A makes a contract with B to sell a horse to B at a specific price. Here A makes contract with B to sell his horse at specific price. If C, to him the horse has been offered, it means that first A is offering, first in this example it has been given, A is offering B a horse at a specific price. So they are wanting to get into the contract, but the third person C is there to whom A has already offered. So first of all, A has offered to C to sell his horse at a particular price, but up till now C has not given any response. So if C is denying, then only the next contract can be occurred between A and B. But if C is not denying, in that case A and B cannot get into the contract. So now here the response of C, whether C is refuses to buy or C is buying the horse. So the C's action will decide the happening or enforceability of contract between A and B, and that is why this action and response of C is considered as a collateral event for the happening of contingent contract between A and B. So this is how the contingent contract works. So it is not always for the loss or for the damage, but it basically depends upon the futuristic collateral event. The another similar kind of contract, or we can say agreement, that is wagering agreement, that we can study, that we have studied under section 30 of Indian Contract Act 1872. Now the term wager means a bet. Generally, as per the Black's dictionary, we can understood the term wager means something risk or such as sum of money or uncertain event in which the parties have no material interest other than mutual chance of gaining or losing anything. So in simple terms, we can understood that wagering agreement is a kind of we can say any bet or any chance of winning or losing is equal in that, a chance of game we can say. So a wagering agreement majorly considered as a chance of game in which one person will always win, the other person will have equal opportunity to lose. If A is winning, then B is losing. If B is winning, in that case A is losing. So both is having the equal opportunity to win or lose. So both cannot win and both cannot lose. So that is the kind of agreement is considered as a wagering agreement. It is not considered as a contract, but it is considered as an agreement only. Though it is not illegal thing or illegal agreement, but it is not contract. It is considered wagering agreement is considered as a void in nature. Now, what are the essential element of the wagering agreement? First of all, there should be mutual chance of winning or losing. There must be two parties as any kind of contract. The event must be uncertain and it should not be in hands of any individual person. So, if the futuristic event or game is in hands of any individual person, then it will be the biased game, and that is not fall under the category of wagering agreement. And majorly the major difference between the contingent contract and wagering event is wagering agreement is the neither of the party has any interest in happening of any particular event. Means they don't have any interest in happening of any particular event. It can happen anyways, but they have only interest in winning or losing. Example of this kind is horse racing. We can take this example as the wagering agreement. So everyone is not concerned about which horse is whether they are winning or losing or whatnot, but they are only interested in making the money. If their horse is winning, they will get money. If their horse is losing, they will lose the money. So they have only interest in winning or losing, or the loss or profit they are making by that. That is there. So this is all about the three types of contract we have understood briefly. What is indemnity contract, what is contingent contract, what is wagering agreement. Because all of these three are, what is common thing in all these three? Major common thing in all these three is they are dependent upon the uncertain event, and that is how they are similar to each other. But as we have discussed, there are many differentiation, as indemnity contract is only based upon shock, they works as a shock bearer. Contingent contract works on the basis of happening or not happening of collateral event, and wagering agreement based on winning or losing. It is based on game chance, nothing else. So all these three are different. And if we consider and if we relate our insurance contract, so it basically fits into the category of indemnity contract thoroughly. Further to it, insurance law basically gets regulated under basic three laws, that is Insurance Act 1938, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Act of India 1999, and Insurance contract, as we have already gone through all such definition. So while drafting insurance contract or draft, we have to abide by the contract, Indian Contract Act 1872. So all three will regulate this insurance law. So we will be studying all these three acts and many more during the further units. Now, introduction to the element of the insurance. I will just introduce a basic element of the insurance, and further we will be taking in detail in the next lecture. So who will be the insuree? The individual who is buying the insurance, that will be the insuree. The insurer, that will be the insurance company will become insurer. Then, as we have understood, it is a type of contract. So as in the contract, we pay consideration. So in this case, in insurance law, consideration get paid in the form of premium. Now, sum assured is total maximum amount covered under the insurance contract. Damages or loss, whatever is you are securing. Risk is uncertainty covered under the insurance, whatever you are buying, that is considered as a risk. And peril is a type of risk covered under the different aspect. So all this elements I have just introduced, we will be individually deal in detail from next lecture. Thank you for today. Go through in detail, study in detail, and if you have any doubts, difficulty, then approach me anytime. Thank you.